2NURFM.com, a broadcast service of the University of Newcastle.
And joining me this morning, a guest from the Faculty of Engineering, is Professor Kevin Galvin. Good morning to you, Professor Galvin. How are you?
Well, good morning, David, and thanks very much for having me.
Yes, now, your participation and where you're at the Faculty of Engineering, what department, what area is that?
Well, I'm a chemical engineer.
Yes.
And these days I'm based over, or adjacent to the university as part of its Newcastle Institute for Energy and Resources.
And what have you been working on there, your research and your study?
Well, I also lead a research centre known as one of the university's priority research centres in advanced particle processing and transport, which is quite a mouthful, for a lot of research into the resources area, particularly in the coal and minerals processing.
Working in closely with industry and mining?
Yeah, that's correct. So, one aspect of what we have worked on is developing new and very innovative separation technologies. And we've had a great deal of success on that front.
Amazing success. We spoke yesterday to Laureate Professor Jamieson, who told us, and of course, about his discoveries in his areas there, which are really breaking and innovating around the world of industry.
Correct. Laureate Professor Graham Jamieson is a colleague of mine, a good colleague from chemical engineering, and he developed a flotation technology. But another complementary part to coal and mineral processing is known as gravity separation. And I guess I invented a device some 15 years ago called a reflux classifier. And we've had some industrial collaboration, and we've taken that to industry. So my group...
How was that received by industry?
Well, it's an interesting pathway. I guess we took 4 to 5 years to have it commercialised, and there was some initial success. We kept the research happening in parallel, and we learnt a lot more, and then we achieved what I would consider a major breakthrough. That led to a full and complete redesign of what we had commercialised. Suddenly we had take-up from as many as 8 different countries within a couple of years, and it really took off in a big way.
Does it mean travelling for you overseas to discuss this and put this into practice in these mining areas overseas?
Well, I do get overseas, but I have... it's very important to collaborate in a very effective way. Collaboration for the sake of collaboration is not a good thing. You really need to work with others who have, I guess, a stake in what you're trying to do. And so getting this sort of worldwide uptake, you do that with ideally a company that's got a foothold in a number of countries. It's just too big to do on your own.
What about support from the mining companies, not just here in Australia but overseas, financial support, investment in what you're doing and projects you're working on? Is that forthcoming?
Well, probably around half of the research funding comes from the Australian Research Council, the other half from industry. And so we've had very solid support from both parties, really, and I think that's been very much the key. The industrial funding, that really gets you focused on, the opportunity in the industry, while the Australian Research Council funding, ensures that we carry on with the more fundamental academic work, because that in itself is often where the big step changes emerge.
It's so good that you could come over and have a little chat to us this morning. Give us a little insight into what you're doing and how it works with the research and development. We thank you for that. We wish you continued success with what you're working on.
Thank you very much. Pleased to be here.
As part of Australian Engineering Week, joining us from the University of Newcastle Faculty of Engineering, Professor Kevin Galvin with us here at 2NURFM 103.7.